Hello YouTubers, Native American flute players and all. I'm Bruce, also known as the Flute Guy or PD Ajashi in Chuncheon, South Korea, demonstrating different keys of Native American flutes. This time I have only two in the key of D minor pentatonic, and as it happens they are both Laughing Crow flutes. Okay. And this is one of my mainstays. I've had this for a couple of years now. This is his Eastern Aromatic Cedar flute in D minor. Okay. This sells for $245. It's got a flared end, as his flutes normally do. You've probably seen me play a number of things on this, not the least of which was Scarborough Fair. This is a very versatile flute, and it has a lovely tone. Okay. It's also a two-piece flute. It's glued together this way in the traditional way, routed out on the inside, coated on the outside with urethane. Okay, and the tone. Very lovely flute. You know, traditionally, when flutes were made by Native American tribes, each person who made the flute according to his, because they were male mainly, his body dimensions. Okay, and the way that translated was, I believe it was from the pit of the arm and up until the end of the middle finger. And it just so happens that this flute, for me, happens to be the perfect length, and I think the distances between the holes were supposedly the distances between your knuckles. Now, and that meant that the holes would be evenly spaced, and of course the tuning would be considerably different. In fact, this pentatonic tuning is probably not something that's traditional. It's something that has been adopted over time. That means every flute would have had a different tuning. But anyway, as you hear, it has a very full, resonant, has a slightly pleasing buzzing sound to it. Okay, it's a resonance actually. I strongly recommend anyone who's interested in playing to get a D. D is a special key. Now, as you may have noticed, we're going down in pitch, and what happens when you do that is the flutes inevitably get longer and the hole spacing gets farther apart, and it's particularly on these bottom holes where the fingers are starting to spread out. Now, when I first got this flute, prior to this, the lowest key I think I had was F sharp. And so this was quite a stretch for me at the time. And I have fairly large hands. Okay, I think I can measure about 8.5 inches between my thumb and the end of my little finger there. And this caused my hand to feel pretty sore after playing. The good thing is that human hands are quite adjustable. Your hand will eventually adjust if it gets used to doing this repetitive action like this, playing the flute. The fingers will, after a while, fall into place, and it won't be such an alien kind of exercise for you. So if you do get one of these, first I recommend that your hands be fairly large, otherwise it'll be endlessly frustrating, and that despite that it's still going to be a little bit of an adjustment, more than likely. Okay, but fear not, it gets better. Okay, the standard Eastern Aromatic Cedar flute in D minor pentatonic by Laughing Crow. Now, this past year, as you know, I live in Korea. My father was terminally ill, and I had to go home and say my goodbyes to him. And when I went home, I spent some time with him, and he passed away. And while I was poem I ordered the flute that was possibly considering to play at his funeral. And Lauging Crow had just come out with this specialty flute here. This is also a D flute. Okay. And if you'll notice, it has an interesting mouthpiece. Ta-da! That's it right there. It is called a side-blown flute. This is just a kind of one-off that Richard made that is more or less designed for people who don't have long arms. Okay, so you wouldn't be doing this, you'd be doing this. Okay, and you can see this is, I believe it's curly maple. I'm not exactly sure what this band is here. Okay, it could be several different things. This darker wood. Okay, also figured maple here on the end. Okay, right off the top of my head, I forgot what this is, but these are two different woods glued together. Okay, he's also got some laminated things going on here. It looks like a bit of koa and perhaps another figured maple, curly maple on the end. And you notice that he has also the direction holes. There are actually 8 of them, okay, used for tuning. And as is common with eastern cedar, you get a lot of knots, which actually make the wood quite beautiful. Okay, when the maker is making them, he actually uses epoxy on them to strengthen them from the outside and the inside. So there's no danger of the wood being thin or sort of weak or fragile at that point. It makes for an extremely beautiful flute. Again, this is glued together. Okay, it's halved and routed out inside, and it has a very nostalgic, kind of breathy and windy tone to it. Cool thing about these is you can look like a concert flute player because you can play it like this. If I had more hair, people think I was Ian Anderson from Jethro Tull or something. Okay, those are 2 flutes in the key of D minor pentatonic, okay, from Lauging Crow. I also have a Lauging Crow drone flute in curly maple or bird's eye maple, but as I said in a prior video, I'm saving the drones for their own special video. So you will get a chance to see those, but not together with the single bore flutes. Okay, that's it. Up next, the key of C minor pentatonic, going down. See you then.